All right, fifth grade, we are back and ready to plot towards the bull. If in the camera shot you see this red armband while I'm plotting, don't be alarmed. We had a blood drive at school today. Just gave blood. Someday when you're old enough, consider doing it. It's for a good cause. But if Mr. Krug passes out during this video, don't panic. I'm just fine. Continue plotting. Astronomy at all costs. I'll be just fine. All right, so let's get to Taurus the bull. You might remember he is always shown as doing battle with Orion the hunter. Even though Orion has no beef with Taurus, his mortal enemy is truly Scorpius the scorpion in the skies of summer. Now, fifth grade, I would say Taurus is one of the trickiest ones to label. So let's take our time. The easiest way to start with Taurus I found is with this little V shape at the bull's face. This is the Hyades star cluster. And you might remember from visiting the planetarium, it is one of 2 star clusters in the bull. And the second of 2 surpasses the fame of even the Hyades. But more on that in just a little bit. Okay, let's add in the bull's fearsome horns as he battles with the hunter. And then I kind of don't like how the star chart does it right there, but I think they basically link the Pleiades with this line to essentially remind us that the Pleiades are part of Taurus the bull. So let's go ahead and do the same ourselves. Okay, same color as our stick figures. I'm using blue. You might not be using blue. You might be using red or green or purple or whatever your favorite color is. But whatever you are using, make sure you write the constellation name in all caps lock in the same exact color, okay? So far, so good. There's Taurus. Okay, Taurus has a lot that we need to know here. So let's first add in our eye of the bull, Aldebaran. So just like Orion had 1 red star in Betelgeuse, the bull has one as well. The bull's eye, the eye of the bull, that's Aldebaran. Let's also highlight our Pleiades star cluster. You might remember here in America, we call them the 7 sisters, 7 sailor stars, 7 Indian maidens, although the Japanese know that grouping as Subaru, and we still see it as a hood ornament on Subarus today. Okay, the Hyades is tricky. If you remember from our 01 chart, they're not even shown to you by name. So you could do this a number of ways, fifth grade. You could make a V shape around the whole box. Or what I'm going to do, since my blue and orange contrast pretty nicely, I'm going to actually just highlight the V shape with my secondary color. And then somewhere here, we've just got to write in Hyades in lowercase letters. Remember, fifth grade, the Hyades and Pleiades are special. They're not individual stars. Rather, they're star clusters, but they're certainly not constellations, So we want to use that same secondary color that we're using for all the stars. Okay, there's our Taurus. At any point, if I'm going too fast, just raise your hand and ask the teacher, your teacher, to pause the video a little bit, okay? Now, we're not out of the woods yet because Orijah the charioteer is actually a little bit tricky. I kind of like on our coloring sheet how Chet Ramos shows it. We think of it more as a lumpy chariot wheel. Here on your star charts, they show an extra point on it. So at least for today, we'll follow what your star charts have done. The other sneaky thing about Orijah, there is a dotted line right here. But because it overlaps with this line, which astronomers would say is 6 hours right ascension, is very, very fancy, very fancy. That's just like longitude on an Earth map. We've got to trace that line too. Now, if that wasn't enough, fifth grade, Orijah is also unofficially connected with the top horn of the bull. It's almost like the bull is sticking the charioteer with its horns. But remember, it's actually impossible for a star to be a part of 2 different constellations. So all these stick figures we're doing, and I try to remind my students of that in the planetarium, you might see the stick figures look one way on a certain sheet, but then on a different sheet, they look different. That's because the stick figure shapes, even though they're fun, and even though that's what we remember, those aren't actually official. Okay, let's label Orijah, and I can write small enough. I'm going to do so right inside the charioteer's wheel. But you're only in 5th grade, so if you're writing a little bit bigger and you need a little bit more space, you've totally got it. Remember, unlike these 01 charts, we're not going to worry about any of the fall sky over here, any of the spring sky over here. Everything else on the T charts is going to be blank. So if you like to write bigger, you've certainly got the room. So that's Orijah. Let's label the one star that we need to know. And again, I like to do these circles of color. It's totally up to you if you want to or not. This 5th grade is your mommy goat star of Capella. That's Capella. Now, I'm debating whether or not we add something fancy here, but I'm kind of thinking we should. We didn't on this chart, and this is optional. This is up to you. Remember, her baby goats are right beside her. And this is an unofficial shape, an asterism called the kids. Now, what we do on our star charts is we do little dotted lines for the asterisms. You'll see that in a couple minutes with the winner W. We also write their names all capital letters, just like the constellations. So I'm going to add mine to my chart because when you come for your second visit, the kids might show up on your big fancy quiz, maybe as a bonus point, we'll see. So just on this chart for fun, I'm going to add them. So we've got Orijah the charioteer. Don't forget to trace that line right there. We've got our mommy goat star Capella, and we've got the kids. All right, we're doing really, really well. And I think the most challenging ones we've already gotten through. Orion, Taurus, and Orijah. The rest of this sky, everybody's going to be easy peasy. That's going to be a breeze. So sharpen your colored pencils if you need to. Then just sit back and relax in your desk. Head on to cruise control as we plot the rest of this sky. Maybe right now, your teacher's showing you this video. It's the end of the day, and he or she needed one more good activity. Maybe you're having snack time. You've got an open bag of Utz pretzels beside you. You're rocking a juice box, a JB. Your 5th grade life is good. You know after school today, you're going home with your buddies and you're going to play video games or just kind of cruise social media on your phone. And you have no homework tonight, and being a 5th grader has never, ever been better. All right, let's finish up here. So, our next constellation, very famous. This is Gemini, the twins. So we've got this nice U shape here on the sky. And remember, when I showed it to you on the dome 5th grade, we've even got their arms that you can see right there. There's some arms, there's some arms, there's an extra leg. I like to stick to the stick figures that my star charts show me. But if you want to mix it up a little bit, that's totally cool too. All right, I don't know if I can fit Gemini inside here. I'm going to live dangerous and try it. I hope you guys aren't getting mad at me for writing so tiny. Some of you guys are thinking, man, this guy, not only does he have a fancy planet ruler that I'll never have, but he writes so tiny. It's okay. Someday you guys will write way, way nicer than me. All right, so we got Gemini there. And now, everybody, we just have to highlight our twin brothers. So Castor is the upper star, the upper brother. Pollux is the lower brother. And surprisingly, Castor is actually the dimmer of the two. You tend to just think since he's the upper brother, and he starts with the letter C, whereas Pollux is the letter P, you tend to assume he'd be first and brighter. But it's actually Pollux that's the brighter of the two. And once again, everybody, notice I switched to my secondary color for the star names. And I capitalized the first letter just like you would your name. But then we wrote in all lowercase letters. See how nice this is looking? And also see 5th grade. See how when we use 2 different colors, it's really easy to tell which names are for the constellations and the asterisms and which ones are for the stars. So just trust me. I've been doing this for 20-some years. There's definitely a method to my madness. All right. We've got 2 constellations to go. We got our little dog. We got our big dog. Ooh, 5th grade. Where are my dogs at, 5th grade? Or. Man, every time we do that in the planetarium, you guys and girls totally slay at that one. We might have to do that next time, too. All right, so first we've got our little dog of Canis Minor. And y'all can see it truly is a little dog, right? Only 2 stars you can see there with your eyes. So let's write in Canis Minor in all caps lock. I really hope that your teacher is finding time at some point to show you these videos, because he or she definitely needs a little bit of a break when they can just kind of let somebody else teach. Boys and girls, I think you know, but your teachers are absolute rock stars. So anytime as students that you all can like give them a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break, and just kind of be big young adults and just kind of work on your own, that helps out your teacher so much. Okay, so we've got Canis Minor. And then just remember, this little dog's a very good hunter, not an amateur, but a pro for Procyon. We got Procyon. All right, looking at the time of this video, we're at about the 11-minute mark. So let's try to finish up here, because if your teacher is nice enough to be able to make time in his or her day for astronomy, Mr. Krug definitely doesn't want to take advantage and make these videos too long, because your teachers have so much to do in a day. All right, so we had our little dog, and now Canis Major is our big dog. I think this one looks a lot more like a dog, although on these charts, notice they kind of attach a star way over here on the dog's right leg. Maybe its right leg is really long. Maybe you pretend that's where the tail comes in. Here in the planetarium, we see extra stars on the sky. It's a little bit easier to make the doggy ears, but that's what we've got on our star charts. So let's add in Canis Major. And remember, in Latin, Canis means dog, so Canis Major is our big dog. And then, boy, oh boy, don't forget 5th grade. We've got the brightest star in Earth's night sky. That's our dog star of Sirius. And notice this one, if you are coloring with me, it takes a lot longer to color, right? Because it's a much bigger dot. And that just reminds us, everybody, the bigger the black dot, that doesn't mean the bigger the star. It means the brighter the star. So because Sirius, since it's very close to our solar system, it's only a little over 8 light years away, it actually looks a lot brighter to us than Betelgeuse or Rigel. These stars are truly brighter, but Betelgeuse is about 500 light years away. Rigel's 1,000 light years away. So just remember, 5th grade, what we see as star brightness is a combination of how big the star is, how bright it truly is, and most importantly, how close it is to us. Okay, we are going to add one last thing, and this is kind of a big deal. I never add these on the O1 charts, but here on the T charts, do you all remember how we added the kids, the baby goats? We want to add our big asterism of the winter W. Because this, even if you forget some of this other stuff, everybody, the winter W is something you can always find. Now, I tend to use the same color as we did for constellations, but just like we did with the kids, I always do a dotted line. So that dotted line reminds me this isn't a full constellation. It's an unofficial shape called an asterism. So let's look really closely where the winter W goes. And then if you haven't done it yet, your teacher can pause the video while you add it in. It starts up here at Procyon, goes down to Sirius, up to Betelgeuse, down to Rigel, and then up there to Aldebaran in Taurus the Bull. So let's just label that in caps lock. Wherever we have the space, that is our winter W. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, I hope your chart looks at least something like mine here, and hopefully this will at least give you something to study. So your teachers will talk about who and what and where you guys and girls are going to have to worry about the quiz coming up next time. Now, nobody panic. It's not going to be a big deal. If your teacher wants, he or she can elect a shorter quiz for you where I just point out only the constellations and you try to give them to me, and then their mythologies like hunter, bull, charioteer, twins, little dog, big dog. Or if you and your buddies are really into this and your teacher really likes it, we can also do the bigger quiz. And that's where we add in the star and object names. And that's where you'll have a chance to win our Planetarium Champions Traveling Trophy. Okay, we've been working really hard. We've now done 3 different things on the skies of winter. I really hope you're all enjoying this, and I can't wait to see you for your next visit to the planetarium. Thanks, 5th grade. Peace.